I want to live a life that aligns with things that like actually give me energy and joy. And I want to eliminate as many things as possible that take away from that. Like that to me is special.
So you're now here at this stage of your journey, and you maybe about a year or so ago, maybe even more than that, you started the Revenue Labs with Tom Alemo, who was also a recent guest on the Rising Leader podcast, one of my good friends as well. And you've been throwing these awesome cohorts. You're teaching them prospecting, how to build pipeline. You're doing some coaching. I guess, where are you at now in your journey as you start to look at, the version of yourself that you are wanting to step more into, and that we can now start to expect to see more from Mr. Anthony Atoli? What does that look like? Because I'm assuming that what you've talked about now for, the past 2 years, whatever it might be, I'm not saying it's old or stale, but it's evolving, especially as you communicate it and share it with people. Your journey is continuing to be worked on. Your shadows that you have, like I said earlier, that they don't go away, are still being worked on and still being present in different types of ways. Talk to me about now and what you plan on doing as you're going into this next stage of your journey.
Yeah. What's funny and interesting is that people try to run from problems and eliminate them. The reality is that they never go away. Problems will never, ever, ever go away. So my goal is always to try to enhance my life so that the problems that I do have are actually worth giving a shit about. It's like, I want problems that like are good problems to have. It's like, I used to have problems with gambling and overeating and partying. Now I have a different set of problems that are way different. And what that allows me to do is have gratitude. It's like, wow, okay, I may have problems, but they're way better than what they used to be. So with that said, I still have problems, right? So like, what's my journey look like now is I've lost the weight, but I still struggle with that part of my life. So I need to address that again and really go deep with that. I don't gamble anymore. I don't have any urges. So I feel like that's a part of me that's in the past, but I still have to be cognizant of it because I know it could come up at any time. And so it's really looking at the areas of my life that aren't up to standard and addressing them. Like you and I talked about yesterday about like, what do I ultimately want to do with my career and what brings me energy, joy, and peace? And so I'm really trying to think about, hey, like, what does Anthony actually care about and value? And how can I align my environment to those things more and more? Because the things that I liked even in 2019, when I started on my personal development journey, I don't care much about them as I may do now. So it's all about like, what's that next level for me to bring me purpose and energy and joy and just like serenity. And so that's what I'm really trying to discover is, hey, the problems that I have now, where are they coming from? What's my relationship look like them? How am I approaching them? And what's beautiful is that because of what I went through is I don't any longer try to solve everything on my own. It's like I talk to people around me. 3+ years ago, I'd keep everything in because I didn't want anyone to think I had any problems. I was scared to share. And so for me now, it's using what I've learned to get myself to that next level. And so like, I want to continue to help other people grow and develop. And what that looks like with my career, I'm still unsure, but I know that I have a different set of values and there's a different set of things externally that give me joy. And so I want to prioritize what those things are in my life. Whether it be career, whether it be family, whether it be relationships, whether it be traveling, right? It's like, I want to live a life that aligns with things that like actually give me energy and joy. And I want to eliminate as many things as possible that take away from that. Like that to me is special. Like if I can continue to do things that really give me energy, peace, and joy, like we talked about yesterday, then like man, that's a serene life to be living, you know? And when problems do come up and do arise, it's not ignoring them, it's sitting with them and using them as a call to action. Like, what are these emotions really trying to tell me? And I think for me, that'll help me up level my consciousness. And then going through that will help me ultimately help other people, which is like really what I want to do next in my journey. It's like, I want to help as many people as I possibly can, whether it be through coaching, whether it be through, posting on LinkedIn or creating content, when moving into leadership, right? There's so many different ways I can take it, but I know that at this point in my journey, I'm meant to do something bigger and greater than just focusing on me, right? It's time to continue to use what I've learned to help other people and make that impact.
I want to double tap on something that you said that I think is unbelievably important, is the 3 words that you identified right there as your guiding light, or the lens that you are looking through as you're saying, what's next for me? And that was energy, peace, and joy. Energy, peace, and joy. And what I love about that is that then becomes the filter that we look through that determines, is this aligned for me? Right? If I am considering a new job, a new relationship, moving somewhere, a group or a community that I'm joining, is it aligned with what's important to me right now? And what's funny for me, like I remember back in 2018 when I was leaving Microsoft and looking for my next, gig, right? My 3 things that I cared more about than anything was, being challenged as a sales professional. So I'd be learning. I wanted an opportunity to be part of a great culture and something that was bigger than just myself. And number 3, I wanted an opportunity for leadership, right? Whether it was right away or also receiving from great leaders. And that's now for me really changed and it's evolved. And while I still love those parts about myself and they're still core to who I am, I now really care about purpose. Like, it needs to align with purpose. Do I feel called toward it? Do I feel like I'm actually making a difference in the world by doing this? I'm not here just to crush quota and make a shit ton of money. Am I down for those things? Sure. But I also want that to be merely a byproduct of me living a certain life that feels like I'm making a meaningful impact. Also, what's really important to me lately is spaciousness. I want space and a place to move slowly. I even want to walk slower. I want to eat slower. I want to talk slower. I want to be more present with where I'm at. Right? So purpose and spaciousness are 2 things for me personally that when I'm saying, okay, what am I really freaking doing here in my life? That's the guiding light. Thanks for listening to the Rising Leader Podcast. Make sure you hit that follow button so you get notified every time a new episode releases. If you know someone who wants to take their lives and their career to the next level, send them this episode so we can all rise together. For more information, check out alluviance.co. We'll see you next time. And in the meantime, keep letting it flow.